Shalom, call Limelight Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And a sincere shalom to the 144,001 third. So, this is going to be a comparison of Nero and Trump, who I believe wholeheartedly Nero, Trump are the same spirit. Trump is Nero coming back in the regeneration. It's what is written down in the scriptures. It's called regeneration. In modern terms, we would call it reincarnation, which is a biblical thing, right? So, as you can see right here, and I'm gonna dive really deep in this, okay? That I haven't seen anybody point out. President Trump says he wants to stage a UFC fight on White House grounds, and just to summarize it, him and Dana White are friends. From the looks of it, John Jones, who's one of the greatest mixed martial artists to in recorded human history, if you will, right? Video footage. He's one of the best. Of course, his forefathers, because he's a Judite, his forefathers and the Israelites, the Gadites, so on and so forth, were very mighty warriors, right? Extremely more powerful than any man alive today, you know, at least for this time being. The elect will be risen up on a much higher scale than King David and all the other powerful warriors of the past. All right. So, after John Jones, he hit a spinning back kick TKO on Stipe about about several months ago. And he started doing the Trump dance, gave the belt to Trump. Trump may like Bones. And here's the funny part. Is this fighter, his name is Tom Espinal, right? Looks like an Edomite. Could be a Jake. Probably more than likely a Jake. He dresses like a Jake. When you see him interact, he's around a lot of Jakes. All right, he might be an Israelite. More than likely, he's an Israelite, just off the bat. Reading the spirit. But nonetheless, he looks like an Edomite, right? And he's from England. He's from the UK. He's from England, and he's a bad mofo, man. He KO'd. He KO'd. Actually, let's pull up the stats, right? Let's pull up the stats because this is all gonna come together. What I'm about to show you. This is real spiritual. What's real spiritual, real planned out. Who knows? The Heavenly Father. I'm finna show you what I mean. I'm finna break it down. And I don't believe in coincidences, like the elder Gabar said. I don't believe in coincidences, right? So check this out. So you can get some context. All right. So this is Tom Aspinall's record. Yeah, he's like 15-3. But once he got to the UFC, he's pretty much been undefeated at the highest level. Of course, it says loss right here, but this really should have been a no contest. But I think they call it a loss because Tom, I think he was doing a roundhouse kick or something, and his leg broke. He snapped his leg. But since he was the one attacking, I believe they counted it as a loss. I think that's why. But he didn't actually get defeated here. So he's fundamentally like John Jones. John Jones is really undefeated. Now some people say, "Oh, he lost to Reyes," but if you really look at the context of the fight, yeah, Reyes landed more strikes, but he was running away the whole fight. He was running away. John was controlling that fight. All right, but nonetheless, he look at his look at how look at all this right here, man. He's KOing everybody in pretty much in the first round. The only other fight, he only had one fight go to the second round. He's cracking everybody in the first round. Why is he doing this? Because he's extremely fast for someone that's 200 about 260 pounds. He's about 2'6", he's like 6'5", 260, moving like a welterweight or a lightweight. He's moving like he weighs 100 less pounds. I'm not exaggerating. Go watch his fights. I mean, the proof is right here. So if you're moving that fast, speed is power, right? A bullet, if I grab a bullet and I just physically throw it at you, at your chest, it's not gonna leave any damage. But if I put that bullet in a gun and have the gun throw the bullet at you, it's gonna penetrate your flesh. So speed generates more power. So if you're 260 pounds moving like a guy that you weigh 160 pounds, that your punches are gonna generate more power. That's why he's cracking these dudes, man. And John Jones, all right, he's old. You know, he's out of his prime. He's like 37, turns 38 this year. So he's old, right, out of his prime. It appeared that he was ducking Tom, right? That he didn't want to fight him. And this is all gonna come together. What I'm saying. He retires, right? John Jones he retires from the UFC because he from the looks of it he didn't want to fight Tom Espinal. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna just retire, and Tom has the belt now as the heavyweight champion of the world. And for people love this heavyweight stuff, man, because that you're the biggest person. The heavyweights, like a light heavy. I mean, you could debate a light heavyweight could mess up a heavyweight because a light heavyweight is really just a heavyweight that's cutting down to light heavyweight. But for the most part, people in the heavyweight class are gonna be the most dominant fighters, right? Because they have the height, and the weight. All right. Now reach. Like for example, George St. Pierre has a 76-inch reach. Tom Espinal has a 78-inch reach, which is that's not. They basically have the same reach. It's only an inch off, essentially. Like they have the same reach, but George St. Pierre is 5'10", so he's what 7 inches shorter. So reach is doesn't matter too much, but the weight, that's the main thing right there. That's why they go by weight classes. Not they don't go by reach or height. Is really a weight thing because that's what really brings the pain when fighting. Okay, so John retires, right? Supposedly he's ducking Tom, and then 2 weeks after, keep in mind he's from England, right? Keep in 2 weeks after, he announces that he's out of retirement because he wants to fight at the White House to celebrate 250 years of independence from who? England, the UK. So I find it very coincidental that John Jones, a Judite, is coming out of retirement to fight at the White House, all right, to celebrate Babylon's independence from its mother, right, which is the UK, and he's gonna fight a fighter from the UK. From the looks of it, I mean, who else is he gonna fight? Trump wants a championship fight. John's coming out of retirement. I don't see why Dana White would have anybody else on that card but John Jones. It doesn't make any sense, right? That's one of your greatest fighters ever, right? That's gonna and this fight is arguably gonna be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fight in UFC history in terms of popularity, because it has a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension in this fight, and there's definitely some racial tension in there. I haven't seen anything racially motivated in this fight for this fight, but Esau, in the back of my Esau and Jake has some racial tension up in this fight. All right, because Tom Espinal, he looks like a straight up Edomite. All right, maybe if we can go to his profile, yeah, he if you go to these stat leaders, he's gonna be all up in these stats because he's a monster. I went through like the leader of the stats, and he takes up the majority of the spots. You're about to see. See, there he goes right here. That's him right here. All right, looks like a Edomite. All right, and GSP's probably a Jake too. He looks like an Edomite, but he's more than likely a Jake. All right. because that's the spirit of the Israelites. Our spirits is what makes us powerful. You know, it's not necessarily our fleshly appearance. It's our spirits. All right. So now let's go into these comparisons of Trump. We just went through that he wants to host. He wants Dana White. It's confirmed next year that they're gonna have a UFC fight. They're gonna build a stadium or outdoor stadium, however they're gonna do it, on the White House lawn, grounds, whatever, and they're gonna have a championship fight. All right, it's already in the works. It's confirmed. And John Jones, who is actively, now that he's back in the UFC, he's out of retirement after 2 weeks. He's gonna come out of retirement, and you think he's not gonna get a title shot? Are you out of your mind? Are you, especially since nobody in the heavyweight can defeat Tom but John? He's the only one that's capable of defeating this dude. And Trump, he wants the best of the best. All right, he wants a championship fights, and Trump loves the UFC. All right, and boxing. I'll watch just random UFC fights from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I'll look in the crowd and I'll see Trump in the crowd at random fights. He's in the crowd. So you know he loves the UFC when you go online and you look at random UFC fights and he's there, right? Like it's a consistent thing to see him in the crowd of these videos. So he loves the UFC. He loves it. And guess who else loved that? Nero. Imperator Nero in Spectacle Entertainment. Today's entry is dedicated to our current Emperor Nero and his role in gladiatorial life. His commitment to the games is beyond that of any other emperor before him who has been tapped in with this UFC. Because that's a modern day gladiator, UFC, NFL, but the UFC is just more up close and personal than NFL. NFL is just you run fast, you're heavy and you run fast and you ram yourself into somebody. UFC is, you can break your arm. You get choked out, all right? Get heel hooked. You know what I'm saying? Get a question mark kick. It's far more savage and warrior esque than the NFL. All right. Nero knows that the amphitheater is a political tool. Yeah, people like a good fight, especially heavyweights, especially when there's some type of tension, racial tension, right? Independence Day, all that. Because think about it. Isn't it ironic that we're potentially more than likely gonna see on the 250-year Independence Day two heavyweight gladiators, one from Babylon and one from England. I mean, how more ironic could it get? You see? I commended his bravery in pursuits for glorifications. Even further, women of high status as well as aristocratic senators were forced to fight in Rome under Nero. So Nero is forcing people to fight, man. How much you see the correlation? And I promise you, the Elder Tahar and Malcolm more than likely didn't even see these correlations, man. The spirit was just working on them on such a high level, and then these correlations came later. All right, look at him staging battles. All right, so Nero loved a good death match. Nero loved him a good fight, and Trump loves a good fight too. He staged boxing matches. Pretty sure he had some other private matches that aren't on the public eye, but now this is okay. This gonna be a hell of a fight. We have a look at him. He said, "We have a lot of land here," Trump said, adding that it will be a full fight and that up to 25 people will show up for the spectacle. There you go. So this is what's coming, man. No, I'm gonna get a few scriptures and end this off. Let's go to Second Chronicles 6th chapter in verse 30. And it reads, Then hear thou from heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive and render unto every man according to all his ways, whose heart thou knowest, for thou only knowest the hearts of the children of men. So the Most High Yahweh has put into the minds of everybody, all right, to play out their lots. He knows their hearts because he created their hearts. He created their spirits. Okay, you're gonna be in a very similar lot to what you always been in. Okay, Nero is back as who Donald Trump, and he's coming in that same spirit. So, this is the final scripture. I'm in this video. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So things are, of course, later on in the scriptures, there's going to be new things, right? Like Jacob's trouble is going to bring new things, but when you look at this regeneration, this reincarnation, all right, it's about to get wild with Nero. It's already wild, and you think he's gonna just stop? Like this is his peak of his chaos? Just wait, right? And you already know he's coming after you, so-called African Americans, man. And with that, shalom.